medulla, daily. Play you like a medulla, daily.
Welcome people to another episode of the SOS podcast. You already know it's your boy 365 on the intro. To my left I have
DG, come on baby.
What are you telling me, DG? You good, bro?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Same old.
Same old. And to my right,
it's your boy T in the building as always, man.
What are you telling me, brother?
There, man. There.
All right. And today we have a special guest in the house.
Hi, I'm Aisatu.
It's all good. Thank you. So before we kick it off, how's our week been, people? DG, what are you saying?
You know what it's like in my village, man, but I say it every time. My life's a movie, so we have its ups and downs, but
it's never
still here.
It's never a peaceful week.
I'll tell you about the violence later.
Oh God,
Violence?
God,
I don't even want to know about that.
It's never a peaceful week.
T, what are you saying?
Calm, though. Nothing special. Took a day off today. I think it was needed.
Yeah,
it's cooled off.
Chilling.
Yeah, it's literally it. But no, decent week. But it's not over. We still got Saturday, Sunday to go.
We've still got more things to do.
Yeah, but all right so far.
How was your week?
It's been good. Pretty much just work, more work, and then some more work.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It gets like that. For me personally, obviously the sun's out, so I just feel a lot more happier.
Yeah.
Work has been calm. Can't really complain. Yeah, man. Business as usual. But today, for our episode today, we're going to be highlighting a specific topic. We're going to be talking about sickle cell. Obviously, it is Sickle Cell Awareness Week.
Coming up.
Let me make sure I say that right.
Sickle Cell. It's a day as well.
And it's a day coming up as well. What's the particular date?
The 19th of June.
The 19th of June. So make sure everyone is looking out and ready prepared for that. If you don't know. Anyway, today we're going to take a deep dive into sickle cell and try to understand a bit about what's going on. That's why we have our special guest in the house today. She's going to help us understand a bit more about sickle cell, talk to us about her journey, and also I don't want to give away too much just yet, but you know, we're gonna talk about sickle cell today.
Yeah, definitely.
So how are we going to kick this off, guys?
I say let's start with this, the most basic and obvious question. What is the sickle cell disease?
So sickle cell is basically an inheritory disorder. Well, it's not really a disorder, but inheritory disease that affects your red blood cells. So everyone's red blood cells, or normal red blood cell, is like a circle shape or like a donut kind of shape, whereas mine and people with sickle cell, their red blood cells are crescent shape and it's like quite hard. So because they're hard and like when they're moving through the blood vessels and stuff, they just kind of like get stuck together, which causes a sickle cell crisis. In short form, that's practically what it is. But yeah.
Okay. I did some research. You come prepared.
Look at you.
I saw that you could correct me as well. I saw that basically they said that it kind of, not always, but it stems from like your body trying to protect you from malaria.
Like that's, yeah, I've heard that that's why it was created. I've heard that it was created because obviously in Africa, like malaria is a big thing there. So I heard it was created to fight malaria. Yeah, I just heard it.
So when I was checking, I did see that. I said that it says that basically they've made your blood cells like that to kind of obviously protect you and fight the whole malaria, obviously infection and so on and so forth. But then obviously it has its own complication itself as to why we're talking about sickle cell today. So I was like, that's interesting.
Are there like different types of sickle cell? Is it just one?
No, yeah, they are. So like, sickle cell affects like your genotype. So for example, there's like so many different genotypes, but someone with sickle cell, their genotype is an S. So you take your genotypes from like your parents basically. So you might take one S from your mum and then one S from your dad, and that gives you sickle cell anemia, which is the, I guess, like the main one. There's AS, which is sickle cell trait. So A is the normal genotype and then S is the sickle genotype. So there's sickle cell trait, and then I think there's like a bunch of other like thalassemia, sickle cell related like genotypes. I'm not too sure about them, but I know there's sickle cell trait and sickle cell anemia. So yeah,
and what's the
difference?
The difference between them.
You see, with the trait, It's supposedly meant to be I guess lesser version of sickle cell. However, I know a few people who have the trait and they're in hospital more than I am, and I've got SS. So it just kind of varies depending on the person, but it's meant to be a lesser version. Like my mom's got the trait and she's fine most of the time. Like she's barely in pain like that. But there's other people with the trait that are in hospital like 24/7. So it just kind of depends.
And you mentioned your what's your one? What do you want?
I have SS, so I've got,
SS.
yeah, like the main one.
Sorry.
Wow.
No, not like that. Don't do that.
Wow.
I don't like. That's actually sad, man. That's. Yeah, don't worry. Don't make a scene. But no, that's actually not. That's horrible to hear. No, definitely. And
That's alright.
how does it affect like your day-to-day life?
So I guess like before, I was pretty much always in pain and like always in hospital. So I didn't work for like a good chunk of my life. Throughout uni, I was in and out of hospital like literally every 2-3 weeks. But over the last 2.5-ish years, I haven't been in hospital as much, and I've like learnt to manage it. So pretty much just been out living my best life. However, I'm still like in pain most, like pretty much every day. I'm at like a 4, but I learned to live with it. So yeah.
So I want to ask, on the back of what you just said there, for example, you said that you was at university and then you wasn't working at that point. So when you was at university, were they understanding of your situation in terms of like, did they put anything in place to support you, or did they like give you extra time with assignments, or did they offer you like a part-time schedule or something like that?
No, they gave me extra time with assignment because half the time I was in hospital anyway, so whether you wanted it or no, it was not coming at that time. So they didn't have a choice. But they were quite supportive, to be honest. Like whenever I told them I was ill or told them I couldn't do something, they were like very understanding. They didn't like judge me about it or like didn't act a certain way. So yeah, that was actually quite good.
Because I've done some research again, like I've been saying. Research, I have to come prepared. So I did see that there is a lot of bias like in the health industry when it comes to sickle cell. So in terms of like getting treatment, waiting times and all of those different kind of things. And even my partner pointing that something to me, she read something herself and told me that, because I explained to her that we're going to do a sickle cell episode. She said that, did you know that certain health insurances don't even put sickle cell cover, they don't even cover sickle cell in their health insurance claims and all that kind of stuff. I was like, right, that's mad. And I'm deep in it. It's mainly because obviously sickle cell affects majority black people. So obviously that's where the bias is coming from.
Oh, so I was going to ask the question, does it only affect black people? But you're saying it only affects majority of black people?
Mostly,
Oh, okay. I was going to ask that.
It doesn't only affect black people, but for the most part, it's pretty much affects ethnic minorities, basically. But yeah, there is definitely, like with the healthcare, how long do you have? Because that one is a bit...
It's a serious one.
Yeah, no, they like, if, oh my gosh, because it mostly affects black people, when like you go in, for the most part, they don't believe that you're in pain.
That's crazy.
So yeah, they would like, I've had a nurse tell me I'm not in that much pain, I should wait. I've had a nurse...
because it's kind of like mental health in that aspect, like in a sense they can't determine how much
because it's like it's an invisible illness, so you can't see my pain. You just have to believe you have to believe me. But yeah, they just don't, and they don't listen as well. Like every time I go in, I'm fighting someone, always. It's never a peaceful admission. I'm always fighting someone. There's always a nurse that doesn't understand, or if I'm telling them like, hey, don't put the cannula in this arm because it's going to reject it. Like as soon as you push the drug through, the cannula's it's not going to work. And then she was like, no, I know what I'm doing. I said, I know you know what you're doing, but I'm telling you right now, if you put it in here, when you go outside and come back, it's not going to work. She was like, no. I said, okay, go ahead. She put it in. I waited. She went to go get the medicine. By the time she came back, it wasn't working. And I looked at her And I was like, I don't want you anymore. Go get me another nurse because you're not listening.
You see
Like,
you see the thing that she was trying to inject in.
Yeah.
What is that?
so like medication, you need like a cannula to be able to get fluids, medication. There's some IV stuff, so like IV morphine. Just to make sure, like whenever you're in hospital, they give you a cannula anyway, just in case anything happens. They can like access your like veins and stuff.
Oh, okay. So it's just like get access into.
Yeah, it's just to be able to get
okay.
access and like give you medication that way. But yeah, I think the healthcare is just a bit like.
Would you say that because it's how the NHS is, or in general, do you think it would be better if you went private?
Do you know? I debated that. Like I did think about going private, but I'm not sure if it would be
Any
much
different?
Different, okay.
But I feel like it could work. Like, I feel like it would be better than what I'm going through now. But yeah,
Fair enough.
it's just a bit.
I was gonna say, with the complication, like for example, you spoke about that nurse. Do you feel like, from your experience, obviously from your experience, is it nurses of other races, or would you say it's a mixture? Would you say it's like nurses of our own race that's not really getting it?
Do you know it's a mixture? But I've mostly received the worst treatment from black nurses. Yeah.
Yeah, anti-dope.
Like they just say
I felt like you was gonna say that.
I'm like, and it's always the ones that'll be like, like just stand up and walk. Like, can you not go to the toilet? I'm like, do you think if I could go to the toilet myself, I would come to the hospital? Like, let me. What?
But it's that same stigma with mental health. It's the same
It's
thing. Kind of
literally-
like, just wake up. Like,
Yeah.
What you're moaning about ain't that bad. Fix up. It's
No,
not that
literally.
Easy,
Yeah,
easier
it's
than
not
done.
that easy to just switch it up.
But yeah, no, mostly it's been black nurses,
I
unfortunately.
had a feeling it'll be them. I don't know.
Yeah.
You got to just look at
Go on.
Sorry, I listened to a podcast and it was actually a doctor interviewing people with lived experience of sickle cell, and the gentleman was based in Nigeria, and Nigeria has a high population
Yeah.
of people that suffer with sickle cell, and he mentioned his treatment back in Nigeria, they would base a lot of it on faith and praying to God and saying if you pray then you'll be healed.
Yeah.
Africans and this prayer thing, man.
Honestly, I feel
Everyday
like for the first couple of years of my life, do you know how many? I'm Muslim, but do you know how many churches, pastors, imams, everything I've gone to, and I'll just be looking at everyone like, what you like? Okay,
I don't know why they
like what you like? What? Like,
yeah, go to the hospital,
like,
man.
don't get me wrong, I've got faith. Like, I'm honestly, I've got faith. But
I'm
do
smart.
you really believe that I'm gonna enter there and then come out and know sickle cell? Like, if that's what you believe, I think you need the prayer more than I do at this point, because
Yeah, 100%.
it's just no. Even back home as well, because obviously I have a sickle cell charity as well, and we help people with sickle cell back home, well, in Liberia. And even hearing their stories as well, half the time it's like, it's just witchcraft. Like, you just have to take her to the doctor and they'll pray over it. It's just witchcraft. Trust me, it's just witchcraft. It's fine. And I'm just like, okay, fair enough, but it's not.
I guess that's part of the stigma that comes
Yeah, it is.
having sickle cell and the lack of understanding and the lack
That
of
is,
education.
yeah.
And do you ever receive that type of energy when you're being treated by doctors, like, qualified professionals? I mean, you mentioned nurses,
Yeah.
particularly black nurses. But in terms of like treatment for pain management, do you ever find that the stigma kind of affects the way you are treated in hospital?
Yeah, I feel like what you said, like the lack of education and lack of understanding is like really big around sickle cell. So there's not a lot of people that understand it or know what they're doing, especially in the healthcare system, which is kind of dangerous. But a lot of them, like, I think in the medical, like when you're becoming a nurse and stuff, it's literally like half a page dedicated to sickle cell. And it has the most basic, like, knowledge of sickle cell there. It had the basic description. So they're going off what they've read in that half a page. And then you have to explain to them, I'm like, I've lived this for 25 years. So what you've read in that half a page doesn't even equate to what I can tell you.
Half my life,
Or what I can, like, what I'm telling you, like, you're not listening. So I think that as well does, like, happen. So I'm always doing, like, talks and stuff and trying to get more people in the NHS, like, more doctors and nurses to, like, actually read up on sickle cell and educate themselves, because it's really important. There's so many people that I know that have sickle cell, like family members, friends that have gone through worse than anything I can ever fathom. Because when my friend's telling me her experience, I'm like, you didn't fight them? Because see me, even if I'm in pain, I'm gonna swing. What do you mean? How dare you? Like, oh no, there's so many stories. I'm just like, and okay. So there's a lot, but yeah, definitely. I think the lack of like understanding.
How did it affect you as a kid, like growing up with it?
If you can say.
If you don't mind asking.
If you don't mind.
Honestly, like I never really spoke about sickle cell. So like growing up, I was always ill, in and out of hospital for like secondary school, primary school, but I never really spoke about it, just because to me, I like my relationship with sickle cell was just always negative up until maybe 4 years ago. It was just a negative relationship. Like I hated it, hated the fact that I had it, pretty much depressed, if I'm honest. But yeah, I think, secondary school, to be fair, I had like a great secondary school experience. Like it was fun and stuff, but yeah, no one really knew I had sickle cell unless you were friends with me and you knew my mum. You didn't know I had sickle cell, or like you would be like, oh, why are you always ill? And I'm just like, oh, I don't know, I'm just
It's
ill.
only because you mentioned earlier that your pain fresh sometimes is at like a 4.
Yeah.
So obviously that would have been happening from when you was younger. So I was just wondering,
Yeah.
how would you handle that as a school kid going to school on a day-to-day basis? Like, say for example, you felt some pain in a class.
Yeah.
How did you deal with it?
Okay, so when I was younger, I didn't always live with pain. So when I was younger, I wasn't constantly in pain like I am now. But every time I would like have a sickle crisis in school, I think there was one time I had like a full-blown crisis in school, where literally I had to call the ambulance and everything. Luckily it was after school and no one saw me, so I wasn't too mad. But my school was very supportive, so I knew the medical team. They always had medication for me on deck. Like every medication I needed, they had. I had like, you know, like those cars that let you go to the toilet and stuff. I never really needed it because the toilet didn't really matter, but I had, so if I was in pain, I would use that card, go sit in the medical room and just kind of chill there, take medication and see like how how my pain is doing. And they'll normally just call my mum and I'll like go home. But yeah, I think the one time it did affect me was GCSEs. I think I missed one of my maths GCSE because I was in hospital. So I had to they had to do something so I could retake it.
Yeah.
But yeah, apart from that, yeah.
You mentioned how when you were younger you weren't in pain as much, but obviously as you got older, so what, does the pain change as you get older, or does it vary? Like you can, from early it hurts, or as you get older it just changes?
I feel like it changes, if I'm honest. Like, to be fair, I don't remember much pain from past the age of 17. I can't lie, I've pretty much blacked that out. But I don't remember being in pain constantly, but I do I feel like I was always in a crisis at the same time. But as I got older, you go through puberty, your body grows, so it just kind of adapts with you. Because currently I don't get that many crises, but I'm always in pain. So it was like I could only get one or the other kind of. So it's either I'm in hospital and then I don't have daily pain, or I just kind of live with the daily pain with a fewer crises. But that only swapped, I would say, from last year. Early last year is when that swapped over. So it just kind of, even my doctors are not sure. They're just I guess we'll go with the flow. I guess
I can imagine
that.
every sickle cell individual doesn't endure it the same way.
Yeah,
It's
no,
different
everyone's
for everyone,
literally
yeah.
different. I've got friends that are in hospital constantly.
Yeah.
Back to back.
So what's the trigger for it? If there is.
Because does the weather affect it? Does it flare up more in the summer? Is it calmer in the winter? Is it different overseas? Because sometimes temperatures abroad are different.
Yeah, it does depend. So for me, my trigger is changing weather. So like if it's like really hot and then I go somewhere that's like really cold, that instant change will just send me into a crisis. Stress is also a trigger. So like that's why in uni I was ill constantly, because the stress of uni, stress of everything. It's also why I just stay away from stress, because I can't, like, as soon as I get stressed I can feel the pain already, and I'm like, okay, let's just leave that alone. I think being fatigued, being dehydrated, there's like a list of like triggers. Like,
do you have to maintain a certain type of balance, certain type of diet?
I was gonna ask that.
Some people do. I don't, but some people have learned that when they eat healthier, they're in hospital less.
I was gonna say, is there actual like research into that, like statistics to state?
I haven't tried. No. Yeah, no, I haven't tried. I just pretty much go off what I want to eat and call it a day.
I wanted to ask, how has it affected your relationship with like friends and family? So for example, I know you mentioned you have some friends that have sickle cell as well. So obviously you guys kind of, that's something that obviously is like a shared experience because you're both going through it. But with like family and stuff, how has that affected the relationships there?
Honestly, it hasn't been bad. Like, I don't think I've had a bad experience with like relationships, family relationships and friends because of sickle cell. Like, most of my friends are very understanding. The ones that don't have sickle cell, literally, like, I couldn't have asked for better friends.
Oh wow.
So I think like one of my really good friends, Lily, she's the reason I even started talking about sickle cell. And that's because like, when we were in college, I told her, this was the first time I'd ever told someone that I had sickle cell. So I was like, yeah, I've just got sickle cell, just really casually. Like, I just kind of threw it in there, kind of just, yeah. And then she went home, done like pages of research, came back the next day and was like, oh my God, this and this and this. And I was just looking at her like, oh, you actually cared, that's crazy. And then from then I just started telling everyone. I was like, yeah, I've got sickle cell.
What age did you feel confident to not announce it but embrace it?
21. COVID. Yeah, during lockdown.
Did something happen that particular time that made you think, fuck it? Or
no,
not to say it now.
I don't know. I think the year before, I posted my first sickle cell awareness video, and then I was like, okay, cool, it's out now. Yeah. But then I went a whole year, just kind of went quiet with it. So I was just like, yeah, okay, I posted that video, but that was it. And then lockdown came, and I was just like, I haven't been ill. Wow, that's crazy. Then I started talking about it more, and then I started working on my charity, and I was like, well, the video is already out.
Was you seen as high risk during COVID?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was supposed to stay home. Sorry. I did.
Everyone was meant to stay home.
I got my vaccines. Yeah.
But both? But both and a booster?
Both.
Three of them.
Yeah, you didn't know.
No.
I'm clean, baby.
I stopped. I stopped after the second.
I'm with you, so I stopped after the second.
Yeah, no.
Let's drive that.
You're gonna get your power soon.
I'm one of them. Gonna activate one day.
Yeah.
So you've mentioned your charity. Like, could you tell us a bit more about your charity, what you do, or in fact, how did it even start? Because you mentioned during COVID you released your first video.
Yeah.
And then you started talking a bit more about it, and then I'm guessing that's how the charity kind of came about. So yeah.
So I was diagnosed with sickle cell when I was 5, and that's because I was born in Liberia, so I wasn't born here. And when I was born, obviously in Liberia, they were never going to test for sickle cell. They didn't even know what that was. So it was they just kind of told my mum, yeah, she's got malaria. And then my mum was like, okay, doesn't seem right. And I'm like, oh no, she's just a crybaby. Like, she's just a baby that cries a lot. Like, she's fine. Came back here when I was like 4, and then I just kept getting ill, and my mum wasn't sure why. And then I think I was at my neighbour's house one day, got ill, called the ambulance. They diagnosed me with sickle cell. Mum was like, oh, okay. So this is what it was. And then she put 2 and 2 together, and she called back home. She was like, half of us have sickle cell. Like, you do know pretty much all of you have the trait. And then they like got tested and were like, yeah, like they all have the trait. And that's when she just kind of wanted to start a charity. So it was her initial idea. So she was like adamant on starting a charity, but she'd just come from Africa. Like she wasn't gonna start a charity. She just talked about it. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe one day. But growing up, I didn't really want to start a charity because I didn't talk about sickle cell. And then I think second year of uni, when I started to be more vocal about sickle cell, I was like, the charity sounds like a good idea. Spoke to her a bit more, like kind of got what she wanted to do. She was like, I just want to help people back home that have sickle cell. I was like, okay, how can I make her dream come to a reality? And then I just started to like find friends. I was like, okay, I kind of need you guys to like help me do this. And they're like, yeah, sure, why not? And then we started the charity. It was quiet for a very long time. Did nothing. Rebranded, came back, and then I think just before COVID was when we had our rebrand. And then I met one of my really good friends now, two of them actually, Hannah and Samaya. They both have sickle cell. So I met them both in that like year-ish, and I spoke to them about my charity because I'd already started to like go ahead with the charity. So I started to talk about it a lot. So quite a few people knew I had a charity. So I spoke to them about it and they're like, I really want to be a part of this. I was like, perfect. Let's do this. And then we made it happen. And yeah, we've sent over 1,000 care packages to people with sickle cell in Liberia.
Wow.
So that's included medication, journals, hot water bottles, just constant support. So like they've all got my numbers. Yeah, they've all got my numbers. They literally, like, anytime they need anything, they can message me and I can send, because most of my family still live there. So I can call my cousin and be like, hey, this person needs this. Do you have any at home? She's like, yeah, I can go meet them, give them more medication. So it's just been, like, growing. I think last year we partnered with Sanya's Health. They also help people with sickle cell. They're an organisation. And they helped us send 1,000 care packages. So yeah, we've been doing that, just getting support for people with sickle cell in Liberia, and hopefully eventually all over Africa. But we're gonna start in Liberia, but inshallah one day.
Amen.
More.
So you mentioned medications. What kind of medications are there, like
for sickle cell in general, or what we send?
Oh no, for sickle cell in general.
I think there's a few. I know I take penicillin and folic acid. Like, you're given that from when you're diagnosed. That's something that you lifelong.
Okay.
Antibiotics to help fight any infections, because when you've got sickle cell, your immune system is absolutely trash. So you can get anything, and folic acid as well. I'm also on hydroxycarbamide, which is like a really low form of chemotherapy for your genes. So really low. I didn't even know it was a form of chemotherapy until I did my own research.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was taking it, I was thinking, why is my hair falling out? I didn't realise.
I was going to say, yeah, because I know chemotherapy, it kind of like destroys your immune system to an extent. I know
that burns out inside, basically.
Yeah, it's a really, like, it's really low. It's got like chemo in it. It's a really low dose, but yeah, I think it just kind of helps your red blood cells to produce, it helps you produce more red blood cells. Okay. So that way, like, you're just constantly producing more healthy blood cells, as well as sickle ones, but there's more healthy ones coming in. But yeah.
This might sound like a stupid question, but I just think about it.
I want to ask right now.
Wow, what
were you going to say?
I was going to ask like life expectancy.
Oh no, I wasn't going to say that.
Okay, I was going to say, how detrimental is it to your life expectancy having sickle cell? Like, I know certain what's the word I'm going for? I didn't want to say diseases. Sound a bit mad. Certain conditions.
Yeah.
You get a certain expectancy. They say, oh, you live up to this age, even though certain people surpass it. Is that the same for sickle cell?
Yeah. Do you know what's crazy? They told my mum I wasn't going to live past 18.
What?
Yeah. So imagine like when I turned 18, my mom was there crying. I was like, why are you crying? And she was like, you don't understand. I was like, okay, fair enough. But yeah, they told her I wasn't going to live past 18. They tell some people, like now I don't think they do that anymore.
How would they even be able to judge?
I was going to say, what age did you even find that out? Because that's very, like, imagine finding that out at like 13, for example.
No, I think they told her quite young. Because at first, I think they said I wasn't really going to live past my teenage years.
Yeah.
And then once I like started to get 13, 14, they're like, okay, maybe 18 might be it. And I'm like, okay.
Imagine hearing that as a parent. Like,
I'm
thinking parent, but I'm thinking the mental side for yourself. Like, how did you
my
deal with
mum
that?
never told me.
Oh, she
So
kept it from you.
I only found out that that's what they said near my 18th birthday. And I was like, why would you tell me this now?
Wasn't that a big shock to your sister?
What's better or what's worse though?
I was like, oh.
Imagine being 12 and you get told you're gonna live to then every day and
time
on yourself.
You think about it.
Like, man's gonna, like,
But even finding out just before you turn 18, I'm thinking about turn 18 next week.
What you
you're turning 18 and be like, you know, that's probably like you could probably just cool. It might impact you, then you probably just like put it to the side. I feel like if you had heard that at 12,
it
depends on the type of 12
Yeah.
You'll be looking at yourself in the mirror every time like, raw, like
I got a year to go.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, that's not nice.
It depends how you receive information. Some people can handle things maturely, innit? Even
At
certain
12.
kids.
12?
Bro, you work with kids, you're surprised.
at 12.
Of certain kids, bro,
I don't think you understand what 12
in the
is.
sector of where I've worked, I've come across certain kids that are very much mature, and it's like, right, you're shocking me.
And obviously,
And how they handle certain things, it's like, raw. I'm surprised you're handling this age.
but that one, that's a serious
at the age, isn't it? You think,
That's a serious thing to handle.
don't get me wrong, yeah.
That's actually another stigma and stereotype.
Yeah, it is.
Sickle cell, that your life expectancy is reduced. But
Yeah.
that's due to lack of education.
Yeah.
Now with the advance in technology and medication.
They don't.
But it's common though, even with like Down syndrome, they say the same thing.
Yeah,
Your life
they say
expectancy is going to be short,
I feel
but
like you can never
some people surpass
really
it.
give a life expectancy because you don't know what's gonna happen. Do you know what I mean?
it can happen at any time.
But yeah, no, because I've got
Nobody
I've got an
should go.
auntie that's she's in her 60s, 70s now, and she's got sickle cell. And I'm like, oh.
So is there like,
She's
say
still
for
there.
example, all right, as you go out of your teens and you go into your 20s and your 30s, do each milestone things change in the sense of the medication dosage or how you have to live your day-to-day life? Do they say, oh wow, now you're in your 30s, you might want to cut back on this, go out only 3 times a week? I'm just saying, for example.
Party in my best life, man. Don't put no time on me, man.
Yeah, quite
I go.
No,
You probably do what you want to do. I'm just saying, is there like do they advise?
No, I think once you swap over from pediatrics to like adult care, it's just kind of, it's just the same thing. They just kind of check in on you, see what's different, see what would happen, let you know like this could happen because of your age, but that's about it.
I've got another question as well. This may sound mad, but is there actually on paper like a cure for sickle cell? Or is it something that is still like
Hard to get.
still working on? Or if there is a cure, is it something that is hard to acquire if you're not in a certain position in life?
Do you know, there's still not an active cure for sickle cell. I think the only thing that has come about was like the bone marrow transplant. I think that can cure sickle cell. I haven't really read into it because I know the donor has to be like a relative, so it has to be someone in your family. My mum's got the trait. Both my parents are like older now. I wouldn't take it from them, and my brothers play football. I wouldn't take it from them either. So to be fair, I never really wanted to do surgery to do that anyway. But with like medication, there's nothing really. It's pretty much just a lifelong condition.
As you just touched on your brother, this made me think, does it affect the type of jobs you're able to do?
Yeah, well, for me it does. So like, I can't do any work that like involves me standing on my feet 24/7. I can't do that because if I don't sit down, my back's gonna hurt and then I'm gonna have a crisis just for the sake of working. No, I'm good. What else can't I do? There's a few jobs to be fair, but I don't really. It hasn't affected the job that I wanted to do. So when I went into teaching, it didn't really affect that apart from like the stress of like going home and like planning lessons and then doing my PGC on top of all of that. Apart from that stress, like the actual teaching job itself didn't really affect it. I've looked after kids, nannied, didn't really affect that either. Currently, like work at a salon, hairstylist as well, doesn't really kind of affect it. So yeah.
But as you said, stress affects your condition. So do you steer away from stressful type of jobs?
Yeah.
But working with kids is quite stressful.
Yeah, that's why I don't do it anymore.
How long did you do that for? Because he's a teacher. I'm a teacher as well.
Yeah, well done. Because
So I'm out this weekend.
I started my PGC. I think I got 4 months into it, and I said, I'm good. I'm alright. The kids, do you know, it's fun until like I actually have to plan a lesson. And then if this lesson doesn't go well and they don't do it, I've now got to find a way to take what I've done in this lesson into next lesson. I can't do it. I can't. And kids are rude.
Very.
Kids are rude.
Very.
And I don't have the patience to deal with rude kids because I just want to fight and I can't fight kids. So I left it alone because it's not for me. It's not. I'm okay.
Was you in the primary or secondary?
Secondary. Yeah. I don't think I could do primary.
Yeah.
Usually they say it the other way around.
No, primary's like babies. So I feel like they're babies. They're still
Easier though.
It's easier though, yeah.
Secondary school is a lot more.
I don't know, 'cause
Yeah.
I've got a lot of younger cousins and I can only spend like an hour with them. After an hour, I'm like, yeah, go find your mother. I'm good. Like, I don't know. I feel like secondary school, because my brothers are older. Well, not older, but like they were secondary school age. And I've like taught them. I'm always around them. So I thought, you know what? I could relate to them. I feel like it would be easier. I was wrong.
Brothers. Yeah, those are your brothers. You
Yeah,
can
they're
relate
rude
to
as
them,
well, but like, not.
You see the outside.
I can actually fight these ones. I can't.
Those
Do you know what I mean?
ones
Oh
touch
no.
them. The outsider
no.
ones, they're unruly, man.
So
Touching on kids.
See,
are
we've
you
all worked in a school at one point in our lives, and I'm never going back. You can never pay me no amount of money to go back to work.
Me, yeah, I love working with
I'll be
kids,
one of
man.
them kids that you see on the news. Yeah, he punched him. Yeah, had enough.
So how you gonna cope being a parent? You gotta learn
No,
patience,
that's
my
my
friend.
kid. I will raise you well. The ones outside, I didn't raise them. Them are unruly. Some kids are dashing pen, papers, chip. You think you're gonna dash that at me?
Cool.
I've seen kids put hand sanitizers in their teachers' drink.
Yeah,
man.
that ain't gonna be me. I'm telling you that for free.
I wish they would.
Hey, I wish a kid would, fam. What?
Oh my! They'll drink hand sanitizer themselves.
I'll trade it.
Put my dad, pour it in his mouth.
I'll still let them do your thing. As long as they put it in my drink, oh, okay.
What if he does it on yours?
Could never.
See.
They know what's happening. Could never.
no.
But no, touching on kids, I want to ask, with
Yeah.
having sickle cell, does it make you scared of having kids in the future yourself? Because as you said, it's hereditary, so there's a high chance. Will you pass on?
My kids have, so it depends on my partner. So I wouldn't have kids with anyone that has sickle cell trait or sickle cell as a whole. Like, you have to be AA, just because I know what it's like to have sickle cell and have it been coming from both parents. I don't want to do that to my kids.
Yeah, that's awful.
So, if I was to have kids with someone, like when I get married and stuff, my partner has to be AA, because that way at least I know if my kids do have sickle cell from me, it would just be AS. It would be sickle cell trait. Hopefully, inshallah, they won't have any. But at least I feel like I would be able to manage that a bit more, and I wouldn't feel guilty as much as if I gave them like full-blown sickle cell.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What about the love of your life?
Everyone always says that.
Sickle cell trait.
I was going to say, is that a you preference
That's-
or that's a general
No.
sickle cell preference? Like, commonly, sickle cell
I feel
people
like
don't have kids with other sickle cell people.
They need to not. If
They
you do,
definitely-
you need to
man,
not.
the people are
Because
still doing it. What, you
yeah,
think-
some people.
Yeah, why can't two sickle cell
They'll
people
close
love each
their eyes.
other?
They're closing their eyes and still
no.
going through with it.
Each other's like, look at what the love is bringing.
To be fair, I've never really had an issue with it, but kind of like I need to know if you've got. It depends if I'm taking seriously. Do you know what I mean?
Do you ask like, oh, what's your blood
I kind of bring up that I have sickle cell anyway, and then
That opens up the conversation.
and then kind of see if like they know their genotype.
I was gonna go into that. I'm digging into my nosy bag because I'm getting more intrigued. I went to it, but I don't know how confident you are to bring it up. Because I was gonna say, how does it affect like you being in relationships, like interacting with other males? How do you start that conversation?
Yeah,
I wanted to ask. Obviously, I have a sickle cell trait as well, so
Yeah.
mom's always told me from early, like, you need to be very.
Yeah,
So
you
like,
do.
how do you like kind of navigate that, and how do you like, you know, in your mind, like think, okay, cool, like I need to bring this up here and now.
Yeah. So what I do is like, I just, so I mentioned I've got sickle cell, or like, for example, if you've got AS and you just kind of want to mention sickle cell as a whole, like just bring it up as a topic and then kind of discuss that and then see if they know what sickle cell is, if not, educate them, and then you kind of see if they have the trait or not, or ask them if they would get tested to find out if they have the trait or not, before anything serious happens, I guess.
I was gonna ask, has anyone ever said, nah, man?
Allow me.
You know what the maddest thing? I'm sitting there because if we got brought up in a conversation, I'd be like, I'm gonna sit there think, is sickle cell that bad? Like, I wouldn't know the ins and outs of it properly, so I'll probably be like,
No, there has been some people.
So I deep dive and I'm like,
oh,
It's serious.
okay.
yeah. For the most part, like guys I've dated haven't had. They've all been AA, so I've been fine for the most part. Yeah.
But like 365 said, would you ever touch on it? If you found the love of your life with your sickle cell, the love ain't that strong.
Bro, find a new one, man.
I
Get a new
can't.
love of the life,
I
man.
really.
Look at you.
I can't do it.
Get a new one, man.
Love your life.
Yeah, no.
Simple, man.
Just comment.
Bro,
I feel like I need to know from the beginning though. Before it becomes the love of my life, I would have known.
Yeah.
I can't allow myself to get my feelings attached, and I don't know if you've got the trait or not.
Emotions is a mad thing, you know.
Have you ever
Gosh,
hit
I'll
it?
cry. Have I hit it?
Have you ever hit it? In the sense of, not hit it, but like you were nervous to share it. Because did you feel like you're going to be judged in a sort of sense?
I feel like not really.
Oh, that's good.
I think because I've always, well, not always, but because I talk about sickle cell a lot and I have a sickle cell trait, it's really easy for me to bring up.
Yeah.
So I kind of just throw it in there from like the beginning. What do you do? I have a sickle cell charity.
Boom.
Like,
It's out there.
I've said it from the second you've asked me what I've done, I've already said it. So it kind of opens up conversation to that. And then if I'm ill, I'll like mention it if I'm ill or not. But it depends because sometimes I don't know. Like I don't like if we're not like serious, I don't really like talking to people about like my health like that. So it just kind of depends.
But you said you bring it up from the beginning in a sort of sense.
I'll let them know and like talk about it. But like if I'm ill and stuff, I wouldn't be like, oh, okay, by the way, like I'm ill right now, this and this and this and this. I might just be like, oh yeah, no, I'm not feeling too well. And then kind of go off that.
That's crazy. I'm looking at it from like the male's perspective. If I was sitting there like dating someone with sickle cell and it's kind of like, okay, oh, you've missed a date once and you come up with an excuse to say, no, I'm ill.
Oh, no,
it's kind of, I'm going to start looking at like, what, you ill every week? Like,
no, if I've missed a date, then I'll like let you know.
What do you mean? You're telling me what? If a babe was telling you
she's made it clear that she has sickle cell. So you're going to get upset about her missing dates.
You got hit.
No, but I feel like if I was but if you were to miss it, you would have to have a good excuse. Like I wouldn't say it. I'd
that would affect a relationship. What do you mean?
It won't, because if you actually care about her, you
can't say, for example, you're dating someone with sickle cell.
Early stages, she might have said this.
And every week, it's like, you're going to start thinking,
no, but she's made you
don't
aware.
take me serious.
No, if she's made you aware.
Unless she's expand upon it.
That's if she's made you aware.
Yeah.
Hopefully she has.
That's what I said. Because you can say it, but you might not have an understanding of how deep it is. Like I said,
a lot of people don't understand how deep it is. I won't lie.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, a lot of people.
See, don't jump down my throat, bro.
Before obviously you explaining your journey and how you've obviously experienced it and what it's done to you. I know a few people that haven't had the conversation or really had the understanding of how deeply it can impact their lives, their health.
Yeah, no.
And what it does
to be honest, I don't think I explain how deep it is. I kind of bring up what sickle cell is and like just kind of surface level what you can Google and like what you can find. But I don't really talk about my in-depth experience with sickle cell. So I do think a lot of people sometimes like if I can't do something or be like, oh, let's be spontaneous, I'm like, yeah, see, I can't do that.
Yeah,
you got to give me plans, because if you don't give me plans, I can't plan my week accordingly, and I can't just be doing anything and anything because I don't want to get ill. So you could be like, oh, let's just go out right now. But I've got work at 9 a.m. So even though it might be fine for someone else to go out now, come home at 2, get home and get ready, I can't do that if I've got work at 9 a.m. because I didn't have enough rest. I'm going to get ill. I'm going to feel fatigue. Yeah. I can't work tomorrow now because I went out today. So it's just kind of things like that. I don't think to be fair, I think that might have been my fault. I don't think I've explained it in that depth to people.
I'm thinking of more of the curiosity side from the male perspective in that dating someone with sickle cell and that, because it's the same thing, like you can't be spontaneous for your partner now. You got to plan everything. So some people might start seeing it as, you know what, this is boring.
Yeah.
Like, I can't. What do you mean you're looking at it?
No, I get that.
Boring or that it's a lot to handle.
Yeah.
It's difficult because
so
like,
in my sense, I'm thinking, because it doesn't that affect relationships going forward? Because you got to always think in the sense, I might feel like I'm always going to be a burden to the person I'm talking to.
Yeah, I feel like, to be fair, I feel like most people, I don't know, let me not speak for most people, but I know sometimes me with sickle cell, I do feel like a burden a lot. Just in general, to like my parents, to friends, just in general, because you have to depend on people a lot.
Yeah.
Like not always, but when you can't do anything, you there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
If I'm in pain, I have to depend on my mum. And sometimes I don't see it from her side because I'm like, oh, but like it's not that deep. And I'm realizing, damn, she's still got work. Like she's still got 2 other kids. Like I'm not her only child. Yeah. So it kind of. So I feel like in relationships that probably would come up as well.
But even in a relationship, you say you count on your mum majority of the time.
Yeah. So that would have to like
you have to count on
push.
your partner. Yeah.
I mean, your partner might start thinking, because if you're not comfortable, you might still go back to your mum.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like I'm gonna sit there as a partner and be like, so
bro,
what?
You can't lean on me.
Yeah. I'm your partner.
Here.
Yeah.
No, it's true.
What do you mean, bro?
You might need to get a grip, bro. Get a grip. Because
how long are you gonna have that man approach and be like, get a grip for? After a year, my baby girl can't come to me, fam.
Listen,
2
after a
years,
year, you need to understand.
you
You can't still be with her if you don't understand what she's going through, fam. Don't make sense, fam.
I'm not saying understanding, but everyone's got their own temperament of how long they can go through.
That's what you need to decide yourself. Like, am I willing to do this? If you're not, bro, leave her alone. Let someone that's actually gonna be there, that doesn't mind being there.
But at the beginning, are you gonna have that full process?
You will never know.
Exactly.
Until you get to a certain stage.
Yeah, once and if you get to that point, bro, leave. Don't start doing headache. If you just need to be honest with the person.
But then some people might feel hostage, because like she said, stress affects you massively. So you might start thinking, you know what, I can't leave babe like this, because
I can't even.
I don't know how it's gonna happen to her. I don't know that
trigger.
I might become such a prime person in her life. She's used to me now. Like, I know if I now leave her support system, how's that gonna affect her mentally, physically? So some people will hang around just for the fact of, I don't want to hurt you.
Okay,
that's crazy.
It's
true,
man.
It's true. No, it's true what you're saying, bro. But then I think on the flip side as well,
that one, innit?
The vulnerability from your perspective, it's like obviously when you're having your crisis and when you're going through certain things, like you're in pain, you're leading, like you're very vulnerable at that stage.
Yeah.
And then it's like, right, is the person that I want to be vulnerable in front or to, is like, are they really prepared to take on like this job? Let me not say job and make it seem like it's like an occupation, but take on this role in terms of like supporting me and being there all the time. And then like what DG is saying, sometimes from the flip perspective, it is going to be difficult. It will be hard on that person.
I'm even thinking from your perspective, you might sometimes look at relationship. Again, this could be assumption, but you might look at relationships like, is there a point? Because you've seen a cycle so many times.
Yeah. No, I get it. I do. For the most part, I'm just like, we'll just see. We'll see how far it goes, or if I even get to that point. I'm quiet to myself, so like I tend to. My own problem, but I tend to like depend on myself a lot and like do everything on my own. So even in relationships as a whole, that just makes it worse, because I'm just like, I'm not gonna. I don't want to have to depend on you just because you don't know how serious it is. But then at the same time, because I'm not opening up, so I would never really know. Yeah. But because even in friendships, like it took a while before I let any of my friends even come and see me in hospital. Like. I think I was in uni and I had friends from secondary school that knew I had sickle cell, and they had never seen me in hospital up until uni, and that's because they had to call my mum. I wouldn't let them know where I was. Like they had to call my mum.
Did that put a strain on your friendships? Because did they feel like you?
Yeah, because they felt like I wasn't not relying on them, but like I wasn't
opening up
to them. I wasn't. It's like they wanted to be there for everything, but I wasn't at like that part. I would shut it out.
Open to it. Yeah.
So it wasn't until
that's very difficult to deal with.
Yeah, it wasn't until then. Yeah, I was literally like
trying to say, we want.
They're like, and I'm like, no, like don't come in. They're like, no. I'm like, no, please don't.
That's difficult, man.
But it wasn't until they came, and then I was like, okay, do you know what? It's not too bad. It's all right. It's not too bad. And then since then I've allowed like my friends always come see me when I'm in hospital, literally always. Okay. So even in relationships, I feel like it might take me a while to even get there.
Yeah.
It took me years with friends. So I feel like that kind of puts a black barrier for me. I'm just kind of like, we'll see.
I think off the back of what we're talking about now, do you have any male friends that have sickle cell? And from obviously talking to them or knowing about their experience, do you feel like it's very similar in terms of how it affects a male and a female, or do you feel like it's different?
I feel like it's different. I feel like in general it would be different just because I feel like as a man you don't want to have to rely on people. Like you might feel like I know that sometimes they feel like I'm the man, like why am I having to rely on my girlfriend or my mom? Like it doesn't make sense. I'm meant to be taking care of them and instead they're taking care of me. So I feel like that definitely does affect their like mental health as well.
Be surprised, there's some baby boys out here, you know. They love to be babied. You'd be surprised. Waving in it. Alright, moaning over here.
I love a soft life.
Take care of me.
I love a soft life. Take care of me. I need a hug. Okay. Last question before we have to wrap up and stuff. Obviously, now that the world's becoming more aware about sickle cell, do you think there's a chance for like better treatments in the future, or possibly I don't want to say cure because it's a big word, but something that can help towards like
a preventant.
Yeah.
Is that even a word? Preventant.
Boy, I'm not gonna lie.
I created
the dictionary. I never heard of preventant before, but it sounds wavy.
The DG dictionary. Come on. More to come.
Hopefully, I feel like there is definitely like a lot more happening, I guess, around sickle cell. It's not enough, but they're getting there. I think there's a few drugs that are like being tested and stuff like that. So hopefully there's like a drug that actually helps manage sickle cell a lot more. But yeah, I don't know if we'll get a cure, only because it really mostly affects ethnic minorities. Let's be so for real. Like,
sad,
it's really sad, but like,
they don't care about us.
The only cure is the bone marrow
transplant. Yeah.
And that costs between like 50,000.
There we go.
Crazy.
It's even crazy. I didn't even Google it because
it's not even worth my headache.
And the thing is, I think it's confirmed cure.
They usually offer it to children.
Yeah.
But recently they have been introducing it to more adults.
It's a lot of money though.
Bro, that's bare bread.
I feel like that's what I'm thinking with any operation or stuff. I feel like there are some people that would take it though, but I don't know if I would. I feel like sickle cell's kind of made me who I am. And I don't like, I'm at the age now, I'm like, okay, it's still terrible, but it's alright. It's giving me a great personality, so we'll go with that. But yeah.
I'm gonna say quickly as well. Lastly, are there sickle cell? Are there sickle cell specific like clinics or like places like that are
UK?
Just for sickle cell? That you know of potentially, or you're not too sure?
There's like hematology centres. Yeah. But I don't know if it's just. I feel like there might be one or two. There's like specifically for sickle cell thalassemia patients. Some hospitals have like a sickle cell ward. I think, I don't remember what hospital it is, but I know one hospital has a sickle cell ward. I wish all of them do. That'd be great.
More of that everywhere.
Yeah, because they just stick you with cancer patients or older people.
That's mad.
So yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Are there any like support services, like therapy or groups that are available to people that are struggling with sickle cell?
I definitely say speak to your hematologist because without my hematologist I would not have gotten therapy through Wolf and So talking therapies. So I'd done that, and that honestly, that done wonders. Therapy's great. Everyone should try it. Even if you don't have sickle cell, I recommend therapy so much.
Come to me,
Yeah, you need
DJ the
that.
therapist.
No, I
You need to
recommend.
go first before
Me,
you
I'm a level 6 therapist, man. You think I'm a counselor? Come on,
Go
tell
first.
my
I
thing,
recommend
man. Don't tell
therapy.
me. Come to me.
It's true. I'll clock.
You forget me. I'm the
Also,
therapist.
off the back of that question, I wanted to say, would there's like any advice that any young ladies or young females or young males or young men or anyone that's struggling with sickle cell that might not want to talk out about it, or they don't know how to, maneuver or where to go? Is there anything you would put out there just, to give them, some wise words or some advice in terms of how to manage themselves or where to go, or how they can try and continue and live their lives? Obviously, I know it affects everyone differently. You put that out there. But still.
I don't know. I feel like there are some people that don't like talking about it and they just kind of continue on with life. But just no, sickle cell doesn't define you. Like sickle cell doesn't have you. Like you have sickle cell. So like you've got to make sure that you kind of overcome that. I guess not overcome that, but like just always remember that you're in control. Like even though it's an unpredictable illness and like you can get ill at any given time, and you don't have control over that, you still have to remember that you're in control of life as a whole. So whatever you do with life will also kind of reflect on your health. So like when I was just sad and depressed, I was ill 24/7. But when I became happy, I was going out, living my best life. I haven't been ill that much. So, just kind of live life. I don't know if that will help, but
you tried. Hey, listen, I tried. Cool. I'm gonna ask you some random rapid fire questions, just so our listeners can get to know you a bit more.
Okay.
Don't worry, they're all friendly. Don't worry.
Okay.
Cool. What has been your favorite age so far?
Age?
Yeah. It's rapid.
23 was fun.
Rapid,
Yeah,
cool.
23.
What is your go-to lazy dinner?
It was rice.
Well, what's your favorite thing to do in the summertime?
Just be outside.
Day parties.
Yeah.
How often do you floss? Lie.
This is true.
Daily.
Every day.
What is one of your nicknames?
I don't really have any. It's literally, my friend calls me Asa.
Aisatu.
Yeah.
So,
What is the stupidest day you've ever agreed to?
Date.
Dare.
There. See me, I don't really do this if it doesn't suit me. I don't. If I don't agree with it, I'm not doing it.
forget about it.
Yeah.
Is your bed made right now?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Have you ever written a song for someone?
For myself, yeah.
Oh, wow.
What is the last craft you made?
I don't even know.
Lost what?
Craft.
I don't know.
Craft.
Yeah.
As in,
What did you,
I know,
did you
man.
bake? Cook? Did you cook? Did you bake?
Oh, I did. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I made a wig like 2 days ago. Yeah.
let's go.
If you could transform into an animal, what animal would that be?
For some reason, a rabbit came to mind, but I don't actually like rabbits.
Stick to the.
I don't know. Yeah, that's the only reason it came to mind. I don't know. We're just gonna stick to rabbit at this point.
What dish do you cook best?
Fried rice. Yeah.
What story do you often tell?
What story?
Yeah.
I guess the sickle cell story, really.
What is your hidden talent?
Don't have any hidden talents. All my talents are out.
everyone that.
No, I was gonna ask you, what's your hidden talent?
Alright, my sister's gonna hate me for this. Singing. Bad boy singer. Bad boy singing.
Brother.
R&B toss.
Brother.
Bad boy singer.
Yay.
Bad boy singer. I'm gonna say this now. I'm gonna make this clear. I didn't say I could. I didn't. Wait. I didn't.
Please.
Wait. Listen.
The type of singing though that
No way. So
Sing it rap.
Listen. I didn't say I'm the greatest singer. I just said singing. I didn't say
You know, I can picture it. You said you on Joey Badass song. I know that's what you'd be there harmonizing. I know it.
100.
DG,
Felt like he's doing something.
What's he gonna say?
what's your hidden talent?
Come on, I'm a man of many talents, man. No, this already.
What's the hidden talent?
What's the hidden one?
Yeah.
What, the one you hide?
That's why it's hidden. I have to tell you. The fuck? I ain't for you to know.
Okay, cool. What is your favorite Disney character?
Tiana. That's not her name. Begins with a T. It's
The black one.
Think about
Princess on the Frog.
No, the black one. Yeah.
Oh, Princess and the Frog.
Yeah.
I know you've been your background in Disney
It's
films.
Princess Tiana.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
I'm in my
right.
Disney
I don't know why I
film.
said
I'm
you
in my
just
I see.
I said Tiara. It's
And then
Tiana.
last one. What are you most looking forward to?
Holiday.
Where you
Yeah. Hopefully Dubai. Yeah.
Enjoyment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Vibes.
Okay, that's due to be fun. Hopefully you enjoy that. I was gonna ask, are there any like blood donation places like that people could go to if they would like to do that?
There's a few. I don't know
Put her on
but I feel
blast.
like
She knew she was prepared. That one, yeah.
but if you like, I think if you go on the NHS website and type
all
like
there.
blood donation, I know there's one in Stratford actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one in Stratford. Yeah. Okay.
Your Googles.
Off the back
But yeah.
of that though, like you said, it was blood donation day
Yeah, on the 14th.
On the 14th. So listen, my people of color, everybody else can donate,
donate
blood.
blood.
It's a big thing.
Quick one.
We need to do that.
If you smoke and drink and stuff, can you give blood? You can't do it.
You can't. Since when? How you picky with the blood, fam?
Written off.
Are you being for real?
You can't be picky with the blood.
What if man's yakking? What if you yakking drink?
It's recently, but old tattoos. Not old.
How?
Oh, because the ink could be.
do they need to-
So new tax,
all right,
new
all right.
6? Oh, okay, I can drop
So
some.
they want blood, but they're picky.
This guy.
They want good blood. They don't want any blood, bro.
Oh my
You know
god.
what I'm saying? You gotta
I said
come there
they're
with your diluted blood. They don't want that.
I'm picky with them.
Your thing's mixed over.
Yeah, if you do fit piercings, tattoos, and if you have anemia, you can't
Yeah.
donate blood.
So back to what he's saying: alcohol intake,
Okay.
you know, recreational drugs, whatever. If you're doing all them things that you can't give blood either.
You can, but I feel like you have to wait. Yeah, you would have to wait a certain amount of time before
Okay.
doing it.
Oh wait, like 6 months.
Boy, better man, them are written off.
Yeah, you just have to. You just have to wait a certain amount of time.
None of us could go with it. It's
I
big.
know the guy.
Oh,
Cool. I'll say outro. Yeah, I'm gonna get into that.
Yeah, let's get into outro, man. Chill out, man. So,
Go on, I'll let you do it.
it's your boy 365 for the outro again. Let's go. I want to say thank you to all the listeners. Big up to everyone that's looked into the SOS podcast. Big thank you to our special guest today who has come through and educated us all on Sickle Cell and everything. Before I even start talking about us, please, where can we find you? Where can we find the charity? And how can we help?
So you can find me on Instagram, Aisatu BK. Charity is Africa Sickle Aid. It's also in my Instagram bio. And honestly, how just by donating to the charity, donating blood. So we're aiming to get like
No dirty blood, though.
No dirty blood, but yeah.
AISAT BK. So Aisatu BK on
Clean
Instagram.
blood, please, people. Them.
But yeah.
Yeah, take time.
Fantastic. All right. To my left, obviously, I have my boy DG in the house. Come on, the boy Toss in the building.
Come on, man. As always.
And you already know it's your boy 365 on the outro. Thank you again for listening to the SOS podcast. And you can find us at SOS_pod.cast. SOS_pod.cast. That's on Instagram, and on Spotify, it's the SOS podcast. Thank you all again for listening.
I forgot one thing,
the special
though.
guest. What have I forgotten?
Tell them you can start catching us on the YouTube.
You can start catching us on the
We're visual now.
Yeah. We're visual now as well. As you can see, you're looking at your boy 365 live in the flesh. Come on, DG, Toss, we're here. So yeah, you can catch us on the YouTube now as well. Don't worry, I'm gonna drop. I don't know what the YouTube handle is just yet, but it's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming. It's coming.
Forgot it.
And yeah, man, thank you guys again. Also, like it's obviously Sickle Cell Awareness Day on the 19th coming up. So yeah, man, talk to somebody if you know anything, share some information, go and donate. We already spoke about her charity, so you can go and do that up. But yeah, man, we're all out. Thank you again, sis, for coming through. We appreciate you, and we're done, man.
Thank you.
Peace.